Happy Thursday. I have to say, I was inspired by a YouTube video that I saw last night. This lovely woman was talking about mixed bean, dry bean soups. And she talked about how neat it is that she sells them at a market, as well as gives them away as gifts. And the recipe she provided was pretty awesome. I made a couple of little tweaks here and there just based on my own tastes. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to prepare two things with the intention of giving a couple of them away as gifts, as well as stocking my pantry. I am trying to go away from canned soups altogether, just because homemade soup, there is nothing like it. And with a little soup kit like this, it just takes a lot of time out of the equation in terms of prep. But, you know, you still have to factor in the time it takes to sort through and rinse the beans. And then I am going to do a quick soak. You can also do an overnight soak if that suits you, if you have a little bit more leisure time to let this take this out over a couple of days. So what I'm going to do today is I am going to prepare two recipes. First, just a basic bean soup mix, and then a split pea with rice soup mix. And I'm going to show you how these mixes are made. This is my first time doing this, by the way, so thanks for hanging in there with me, but I think it's going to be kind of fun and delicious. I had these beans for quite a while. They've been taking up pantry space and they were separated, and it's just kind of a great idea to kind of mix and match everything that I've got. And I'm just going to start doing this type of thing from here on out because I do quite love beans, and there's such tremendous variety out there. It's quite incredible. So we'll start here first with the bean soup mix. Now, she also did have a recipe for a spicy bean soup mix, as well as like a chicken noodle soup mix. Those are great, and I think I might do those another time. I do not have any dehydrated veg to put in them at this point. So that'll be kind of a fun thing for later. And honestly, with the spice, I'm not super keen on super spicy. I can handle a little bit, but my kiddo is not keen on it at all. And so I can always get away with a little bit of curry, but that's about as far as I can go. So I'm going to maybe hold off on that one for a little while, maybe try that during the deep winter when we really need to warm up the bones in the body. But beans, oh gosh, there is really nothing like boiling or preparing beans. Just it smells fills the house with this wonderful homey smell. It's a nice thing to do while to have simmering on the oven while you're doing other things in the background, and can tend to it really easily. And it's incredibly healthy for you. Like I could go on forever about how good they are for you. Not necessarily as a meat replacement. If certainly that can be the case for vegetarians and vegans, but I just think it's an important staple to add to our meal plans. And so this is kind of my effort to get myself more in the habit of doing this on the fly. So since these little bean soup kits are going to be stored on the shelves, I'm going to keep the beans separate from the seasonings. And so I got these neat little portion cups with lids. I'm just going to drop that in there on top of the beans. My ultimate goal is to, put the cap on top and maybe wrap a little ribbon around them with the recipe and, some Christmas wishes attached to it for the ones that I'm going to give away as gifts. But I am going to also prepare one of these for us for dinner tonight. And so there might be a couple of videos that pop up You know, I don't want to put you through waiting for my beans to pre-soak or quick soak. And so once I get to the point of preparing the soup, I will do that and probably have a little short later on, letting you know how it goes. So with that being said, I basically just poured out all the beans that I had stored separately in my pantry. And in here we have a combination of kidney, white beans, black beans, pinto beans, and chickpeas, or garbanzos, as they're often called. And I'm just going to mix it up in this bowl here, and then we portion out into each mason jar, per the recipe's instructions. And then I'll move that to the side and then measure out the ingredients. My guess is that the seasonings. My guess is that the seasonings will maybe take a couple of cups for each kit, but I'm prepared for that. I think it's also a good idea, just for ease, to just have your seasonings set aside and ready to go. From what it seems, only 2 measuring spoons are necessary, your half teaspoon and your tablespoon. And so you can make real quick work of this. But honestly, the different flavors that I am super excited to see how this tastes, because the flavor profile is just, oh, it hits every awesome button. I also want to say too that just because it's a bean soup mix doesn't mean you can't enhance it with some meat if you want, or fresh veg. In fact, the chicken noodle soup, I am going to omit the dehydrated veg completely, and instead kind of include it in a little care package with some celery, onion, fresh celery, onion, and carrots, and then put the noodles and the beans in the mason jars with the seasonings. So you can play with this, and I have memories, really faint memories, of some of my neighbors doing this when I was a young child, and I don't think we ever actually ate them. I don't remember them ever being prepared, but I've certainly seen this type of thing on the shelves. But I'm really excited to give this a whirl, and thank you for joining me in the kitchen. Oh, hello. Oh, good. Oi. Gabizino. Good to meet you. And hello, Alan. I am preparing 5-bean dry soup for gifts and a little quick meal prep. Hello, Gracie Cat. Hello. And Merlin, did I spill the beans? Oh my gosh. Where could I even begin to answer that question? Thank you for joining me in the kitchen. I hope you're all well. So let's go ahead and mix this business up. Actually, I'm going to roll up my sleeves for this. So again, I have white beans, black beans, kidney beans, chickpeas, and some kidney beans. And actually, there's probably some mung beans in there as well, because my kiddo, she actually kind of mixed some of the beans together before we moved, and she thought it was kind of a fun little activity. So there might be some mung beans mixed in there. I love keeping mung beans on hand, and I like to sprout them and add them to any Asian cooking that I do. It's just nice and fresh. I like using them for egg foo young. Reminds me, I haven't done a video for egg foo young. I should probably give that a whirl. That's one of my favorite little nibbles. Isn't that pretty? It's all dried beans, all legumes, but the flavors are unique in their own right. Oh, there's pinto beans in there too. Pardon me. So yeah, it is 5-bean soup. But yeah, they have flavors all of their own. And these aren't rinsed, of course, so anything that's in the jar, you're going to want to include in the instructions if you make a little label, or, instructions to yourself to rinse and pre-soak or quick soak the beans before you prepare. Make sure you pick out any pebbles or anything that you find in there. All right. So let's go ahead and begin. Gosh, I am beyond stoked because my Christmas present to myself was a box set of CDs. Sonic Cathedral is a record label in the UK, and they are magnificent. Everything that comes out of Sonic Cathedral is amazing. Shoegaze at its absolute finest and gold standard. But my lovely little box set arrived yesterday, so I have been enjoying that kind of nonstop, especially the Christmas album, the Celebrate Your Elf. I should do this. So this is the box set. Celebrate Yourself is what it is, and it's just an amazing combination of artists. I don't know if you can hear it in the background. I have it playing from the other room. I can sure hear it nice, and I tell you, it creates the best kind of vibe to do what I'm doing right now. So hopefully you can hear it and can enjoy it as well. All right. I love my funnel. It makes makes so many things so much easier. So let's go ahead and get rolling here. We're going to want 1 3/4 cup of your mixed dried beans. I could probably eyeball it instead of being so particular with a 1/4 cup. It's literally that easy. I'm going to eyeball it. It is, gosh, is schmaltzy the right word for the weather out there today in the Pacific Northwest? Yes, I do think that's the right kind of word. It's kind of unseasonably warm, and there are clouds in the sky, but it was a red sky this morning, and so I am anticipating a big storm, regardless of what the weather report says. I have found that the weather report tends to be quite inaccurate. Okay, so there we are. It doesn't fill up the entire mason jar, certainly, but there's plenty of space to add your seasoning. So let's move this to the side and get going on our seasoning, shall we? But I do hope wherever you are in the world that you are healthy and well. And if you celebrate the holidays, I sure hope you're enjoying it. Oh, hello, Merlin. Yes, I am. I am from Utah originally, but I live in Washington State. And welcome to you over in Nova Scotia. Oh, bless your hearts. You are probably experiencing quite some wicked weather. Speaking of weather, I have not traveled to Nova Scotia, but your area is legendary. I hope you're well. Thanks for joining me. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the black pepper. We want 1 teaspoon. So this is a 1/2 teaspoon. So 2 of those guys. Yeah, it's going to take, gosh, hopefully it doesn't take 3. We'll have to see. If we get there, I'll just improvise. I do not think that my jars will handle the bigger cups, the openings. I have the wide mouth jars, but the little cups may not fit very well into the openings. So pepper down, just to keep myself honest as I'm talking and going along here. I'm going to set the seasonings aside. We have a teaspoon of paprika. Gosh, I hope you can hear this music. It's just magnificent. Oh my gosh. Did I skip? I'm going to stop talking. And 1 teaspoon of dry mustard. 2 teaspoon onion flakes or minced onion. Let me actually get the teaspoon. Yep, we hit capacity there. 1, 2. You don't want to overfill these, certainly. Otherwise your lids will not stay on. Oh, I was wrong. You do want 3 measuring spoons just for to make quick work of it. 2 teaspoons salt. Half a teaspoon of garlic powder. I am stoked because I did need, it was time after a couple of years, it was time for me to re-up my dry seasonings at the store. And I happened to time it with an incredible sale. So I got well, I went bulk this time because I cook so much. But I got an incredible deal on these spices and seasonings. Rosemary, let's go with you first. Or oregano. Half a teaspoon of oregano. And just in the nick of time. It's kind of wild when I buy seasonings. I always get right to that point where I'm almost out, and they all kind of get to that point at the same time. It's kind of neat. So it's only an investment every couple of years. And this next summer, I am going to grow a lot of my seasonings in little pots on my patio. And that'll be kind of fun to dry those out. Maybe I'll get really fun with it and make a special rack in my kitchen where I can dry some herbs. Okay, 1/4 teaspoon of rosemary. Quarter teaspoon of Italian seasoning, which I didn't grab. This is my own blend of Italian seasoning. Quarter teaspoon. And then some bay leaves. I am going to need 3. I am going to need 3. Okay, well, that's good to know. Oh, pardon me, my goodness. They should fit. They should still fit. So let me just recalibrate here. So let's go with the bouillon, and then we'll pop the bay leaf on top. We need 1 tablespoon of chicken bouillon. I have a lady who made these recipes. She does sell them at her little market stand, but she put all the seasonings in with the dried beans, and I quite prefer to rinse my beans before cooking, and so I thought it would be prudent to keep them separate here. What was nibbled on? Okay, and these, the leaves I have are extra large, so it literally says, you know, make sure you break them in half. You don't want to go too strong in there. So there we are with the seasonings. Again, this is just the basic bean soup made with kidney beans, white beans, black beans, pinto beans, and chickpeas. This certainly brings back memories of my days working in a commercial kitchen. Quite fun to portion out spices versus sauces. It can get a little wild sometimes. And I am going to be eating one of these kits, and so I am not going to use these containers for what I'm going to be eating. So there we go. Fingers crossed this works. I wonder, 2 to the side and then 1. Fits. All right. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do this because I found these. I haven't been able to find these in the stores. For well over a year, I've kind of been looking. They're incredible for these specific types of jars, the ball jars. They're leak proof. I use them for tea. I use them for everything. Basic food storage. So just temporarily, because I don't want to pull my rings and everything out right now. That's how we do. And so, yeah, here it is. Little gift package of some 5-bean soup mix. I'm going to add a little ribbon, maybe a bow on top, and I'll add the cooking instructions and ingredients. You know, I'll attach it with a little tag, and there's some love in a jar. So that is that. Let me go ahead and package these other ones. I love it when things kind of work out. And space-wise, this is a good use of space. One more. Yeah, so many of those I do. Okay, so there we are. The basic bean soups are ready to go. Let me go ahead and prepare 2 of the split peas with rice. And keep in mind, I still do have a ton of beans here, so I am going to kind of set these aside and use them to make more gifts. I just doing a little bit of a preview right now. So we need the dry 3/4 cup. Yeah, this is how I was storing all this goodness previously, but I'm kind of doing away with my narrow mouth jars, just because most of the gadgets I have are with wide mouth, and I actually prefer canning with wide mouth personally. So we have our beans, our cup, and let's recalibrate. Here's our rice. There, keep in mind too, there are some rices that you want to rinse before preparing. What I'm using is actually already been rinsed, so keep that in mind. My preference is jasmine rice, and you want to rinse that before you use it. But certainly you're going to be rinsing these beans anyways, so it'll all work out. So the recipe actually calls for a 3/4 cup of split peas and then a 1/2 cup of yellow split peas, but I just have the green for now. And I'm thinking I should actually get my other bag of green peas. Yep. We're going to need bouillon, parsley, onion powder. Bouillon, parsley with a backup, onion powder, turmeric, and dry mustard. Plenty of turmeric, great. Onion powder, dry mustard, salt, pepper. Salt, pepper, and bay leaves. Okay, we're lined up. So let's go ahead and start with the green peas or the split peas. I'm going to grab that other bag. Ooh, it's a 2-pounder. Okay, well, go Natalie. All right. So let's begin. The lady who made this recipe, she put things in layers to make it look pretty too, and it sure did look pretty. I wish I did have some yellow split peas, but let's go ahead and start with 3/4 cup on the bottom. And then a 1/2 cup of rice. There's another measuring cup that I didn't anticipate, but it's all good. And yeah, it's certainly a lot easier to portion this out when you use a nice big bowl. Now keep in mind, this is raw rice. This isn't instant rice. For those of you who use the instant style. Now we do a 1/2 cup. Well, can't say I've actually ever had a yellow split peas. Oh wow, look at that. Perfect. Perfect. We won't need to open that other bag. That's kind of nice. Okay. Let's go ahead and set this business aside. Look how pretty. You can see that. I'm going to guess that I'm going to need 3 cups per jar, just like the other recipe, but we'll see where we get. Take a little sip of tea. Okay. All right. 2 tablespoons of the bouillon. I'll start there. That's perfect for 1 cup, so yeah, we definitely need 2, maybe 3. Yep. Yeah, I think my neighbors in the 80s, early 80s, I remember them delivering this on Christmas Eve. That was kind of the tradition where I grew up, is all the neighbors would visit everyone's houses briefly, you know, their entire family, and they would give you a little gift, you know, of chocolates, candies, cookies, canned dried bean soups, all sorts of beautiful things. I'm not sure. I cannot recall what my family contributed, but I'm guessing we did do something, but I can't recall. All right, so we're going to need another tablespoon. We're going to go to the parsley here. And I'm not going to need to measure it. I'm just going to go because I can eyeball it. See, it's funny. They all kind of finish at the same time. And this is actually parsley that I had dried a couple months ago. My kiddo's first introduction to drying herbs was parsley. She got a real kick out of seeing the process of that. And the flavor is magnificent. I go through it so fast too. There's no need to preserve it. All right. Keep myself honest here. Let's go with the onion powder. We want 1 teaspoon. So 2 of these half teaspoons here. Okay, a teaspoon of turmeric. I love turmeric. I like adding it to my eggs. Of course, any Indian food that I'm trying to make, that is definitely towards the top of the list of cuisines that I would love to learn properly. This Indian cuisine, I love it. I know some basic curries, but that is about it. Okay, half a teaspoon of dry mustard powder. I'm going to give that a little wipe so I don't mix the seasonings together. One teaspoon of salt. Ooh, there we go. Ran a little low on the salt. I'm just using sea salt here. I prefer cooking with sea salt, but you do need the iodine, so I mix that in here and there as well. Half a teaspoon of ground black pepper. That's strong smell. And last but not least, the bay leaves. So that, split those into. Well, now, I didn't mention this before, but do make sure that you remove the bay leaf after cooking. That is not a pleasant bite when you're nibbling soup. So there you have it. Split pea with rice soup mix. Okay. Oh, I accidentally did portion it up. That's okay. I will use these. I'll make another one because I do have plenty of peas. So there we are. Split pea and rice soup. Again, you want to remove the seasoning. When you're preparing this, remove the seasonings. Rinse everything in there. Rinse the rice too. Why not? And then on the day of your cooking with the split pea and rice soup, you want to add 3 quarts of water and bring it to a boil, then lower the heat, allow it to simmer for 2.5 to 3 hours. Or you could drop this in a crock pot and cook on low for 6 to 8 hours. With split peas soup, I found that it continually expands, so you might keep an eye on it. Make sure you add a little extra water if you need to over time. So that's a go. And I didn't tell you with the bean soup mix, you actually want to, of course, rinse the beans, take out the seasonings, add 2 quarts of water, bring it to a boil, simmer for 2.5 to 3 hours, or in a crock pot for 6 to 8 hours. So it's going to be the same amount of time for cooking, but just 2 quarts for the bean soup mix, 3 quarts for the split pea and rice soup mix. So there you have it. Some love from the kitchen, and I'm going to go ahead and start preparing the soup for tonight's dinner. I have already pre-boiled my water. I'm going to add the beans, bring it to a boil. Well, let's see. Bring it to a boil for 2 minutes. I'm going to add, well, there's about 8 cups of hot water there. I'm going to bring it to a rapid boil, so a rolling bubbly boil for 2 minutes, remove it from the heat, and just cover and let it stand for an hour. When that's done, I drain the water it's soaked in and I rinse the beans, and then I get to making the soup. If you choose to do an overnight soak with your beans, you want to rinse and sort them just as you would with the quick soak, and add the water, let it stand overnight. Give it a good stir too, but add the water, let it stand overnight, or at least 6 to 8 hours. So if you do, soak your beans before you go to work, when you get home from work, you can drain the water and rinse the beans and then make the soup. So it just kind of depends. I always recommend pre-soaking. I've done it both ways, and I just find the integrity of the whole soup meal holds better if you pre-soak and pre-cook the beans. But thank you for joining me for this portion. I am looking forward to getting one of these mixes, get the beans all boiled. So I'll be back in about an hour or so, and then I'll toss everything in. Or I might just wait until it's finished and show you the final product through a short. Haven't decided yet. Busy holiday, and it's towards the end of the week, so I am not sure what the afternoon will hold. But thank you again for joining me in the kitchen. As always, I wish you good health and well-being and happiness, and happy holidays. Share it with those that you love.